Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today. Local gossip, all of it uninteresting. Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
The dustbin is yours for the digging, Mr. Holmes.
挑衣服，这为了外面下雨啊 ？What the fuck？ 帽子还要戴帽子 ？What the？ 不是你好歹说。 要带啥嘞？河岸街报。先出去吧，哥，别闹。
A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool. You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here. Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
哪里
Blast.
叫什么啦？
Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
Any breaking news today?
The dog accident. It's the talk of the town.
Yes, yes. Besides the tripe on the front page, anything about burglaries?
I'm not sure, sir.
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson.
Cool, now I can take the day off.
Did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive. Hence the appeal of disguises. Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears. If you have more shillings.
好啊，好啊，好啊。Hang on. So,答案与证言。物品观察なるほど。华生把今早收到的各种信件拿进来，然后按揭报复在里面。那时的报纸已经被弄脏了。No, not yet.他这里的意思就是说有一个绿的，一个蓝的，对了。绿的是这个啊，蓝的就是这个啊。搞得那么复杂。当水电厂中出现一个新的问题，或者当你有足够的证据来回的一个问题时，荧幕上会出现该图示。按下吸进入按键，然后转至思维电塔。你的 可以通过连接适量的正确证据来进行回答。居然是这个啊！好，这有点厉害。
Come now, Mr. Holmes. Murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has
Get the
his
Strand.
scruples.
Get your copy of
Not
the
every
Strand
pawn
here.
knows it's part of a game.
Get the Strand.
可是，书上附有巴恩斯的名片，上面有。
Get your copy of the Strand here.
那可以请你跟我说一下他的，这我自己要看了。的确搞得有点复杂。这样子看不到什么东啊。起码给个地址好不好？真的不是。
Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you? Okay, perhaps from Cordona.
Cordona. What? Oh. Go. 手我看得见。我靠，直接也看得出来重心在右腿啊。 你没有多高，跟他这样子也能掰。工作坊吧，我想想，这个真的看不出来，很难猜耶。
Mr. Barnes, a word. Oh, for goodness sake.
好吧，看来我是觉得我选错了。
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please?
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
Really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out. The ladder is broken recently, judging by the freshness of the wood. I could hardly imagine anything more macabre. Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby. So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
"为什么巴恩斯的行为如此奇怪？怎么可能不知道？一看就。好吧，并不对。 证据都吃了，那我要干啥啊？快一点！是呢。游戏真的是怪怪的。搜寻HD。Oh shit.
An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible. In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is.
居然是我在耍笨。
Finest view London has to offer.
可我居然玩这系列玩了那么久，还那么大意啊！可恶！
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
那是出去。
Hello there. What's your name?
Lily. I know, not very original.
这是不是点广告哎？小姐，不要这样子好吗？
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them.
Familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin? The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something.
Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
是这种只能用猜的，拜托。就这样子，你看得出来吗？就是依然感到悲伤，还是准备放下火花？屁呀！线索宇宙无敌小啊！是依然感到悲痛啊。
My condolences, Mrs. Fleming.
Mr. Holmes?
Your husband's death. You're clearly still in mourning.
Oh, no. I loved him more than anything, of course, but that was some time ago now. Life goes on.
A lesson we all learn, one way or another. One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy. So we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached. But since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
Interesting.
Do you know anything about this?
I can't help you with that, sir.
OK， 这个就点错了吧？需要理解的还是现场的东西。这个应该只能问他问题的没一样。
Excuse me, just one question.
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
A miner with a sooty face. At least, in doll form. What's this? A treasure hunt. Used to do lots of those in my childhood, for myself and...
Is it a call for help? A bad joke?
Or both. Better not risk leaving this matter ignored, don't you think?
是哎，我想要解决第一案件，结果跑来支线任务是怎样？太莫名其妙了。
Impressive stature, strong gaze. I think this man deserves a knighthood.
Really, Holmes? How can you be so sure?
On rare occasions, Watson, it can suffice to trust one's gut.
下呗。
No seams or torn fabric on this doll. Likely one-legged by design. No seams or torn fabric on this doll. Likely one-legged by design. What does it say?
我觉得我找到的不是同一个嘞。傻笑。这个是我们第一个找到是写着细的小男孩玩，来猜一个、啊。在赢 A 的感觉。
嘿，另外一个，哎呀，
这里是有摊贩没错。哎，这怎么站起来了？这张地图，这地图的系统做的真是烂透透。
Get the strand. Get your copy of the strand here.
对啊，贝壳街，那我们大概在这里，再从这里走来这里，对，这边要走过了，往这边走走看啊。 地图做的真棒，就是来你自己领悟一下，你自己到底在哪里，看你能不能领悟出来。Oops.是不是我都不知道自己走到哪里去啊？没有了嘞，附近就那么大。唯一有摊贩就是这里，可是又没有找到。娃娃是什么样子？That is very weird. 对啊，房子是。这样子没错，可是摊贩在那边，是在门前呢。
Could you help me?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
超级奇怪啊！地图本身也不对。更像。
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
Is this familiar to you?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
靠，眼睛太大颗。
Seems to be for me. Unnaturally bent legs, yet they look to be a design choice. A model of a homely room and fireplace. Chimney bears a peculiar form, like it's meant to have something put inside. Children's clothes, judging by the size.
这个已经找到了，我
Padlocks have names etched onto them. Anne, Tom, Charles. What a grim view.
Hang on. 找出该物品的用途。
Tom. Looks like a factory to me. Wonder what could get the gears inside moving. Anne. A small minecart. Endearing, if disturbing. Looks like putting something in the slot may get the gears inside to move. Charles.
That's easy.按护的零行，腿部受伤导致失血过多。汤姆烟雾中毒。查理斯严重烧伤导致伤好恶化，这有关系。
Tom, Charles, Anne, and Mary. Last doll seems recently made. Not sure I like the treasure hunt's ending.
Could we really have saved her, Holmes?
No. Solving this crime is beyond my reach. It is society who must work on sparing children from death by hard labor.
Uh-huh. 为什么办案时行为如此奇怪？ What does it mean?为什么搞得那么复杂？我拜托你。两个对了，一个错了，是这个吗？傻小啦。
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
我很认真的，拜托你来给我来搞清楚。What the fuck？ 我还以为是真的什么案件呢，靠。
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer. I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus and your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper. Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition. And that perhaps, if ill-applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. It doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But
it's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come.
Yeah, I know.
Not much further now.
Is this lousy attitude of yours because of my altercation with Inspector Lockhart? Did he put you up to this?
Sir, the Inspector has nothing to do with it. I'm telling you the same thing I tell anyone seeking a missing person.
Good day, gentlemen. Forgive the intrusion. Captain Stenwick, this is my colleague Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective I told you about.
At last, a professional. This useless officer refuses to do anything about Kimmy here, my missing servant. What was your name again? I shall be certain to inform your superiors.
Sergeant Ruffles. And it's my superiors who made this decision, sir.
Have there been other disappearances lately?
Of course, here and there. But when life is tough and opportunity comes knocking, you can't blame those who answer.
Why has the police department decided not to help?
We investigate murders, thefts, fraud, arson, real crimes. A servant walking away from his master is not our highest priority. That said, if we find Kimahia breaking the law, we'll be sure to notify Captain Stenwick. Now, I must be off. Best of luck in your search.
You heard that, didn't you? The way that man spoke to me. I shall need your written testimony, then we can lodge a complaint.
Captain, perhaps Mr. Holmes' time is better spent learning about your servant, so that he may begin his investigation.
Ah, yes. Quite right. Fire away.
When did you last see your servant?
Kimmy here normally brings me the morning papers, but yesterday I had to get them myself. He must have escaped the night before yesterday.
Tell me about Kimahia.
He's foreign, a Maori, all the way from New Zealand. Biggest man you've ever seen, and as strong as two. Dark hair and fearsome tattoos. He doesn't speak a whit of English, never bothered to learn. But I made do with pointing. I invested a lot of money in him, so he must be found.
May I see your servant's bedroom?
His shack is in the garden. You can't miss it.
Did you search the room?
Of course, but only to check he wasn't lying dead inside. Everything seemed normal at a glance.
I take it this is the first time Kimahia has vanished?
Undoubtedly. The man seemed terrified of the city. I think it was all the noise. He never left this estate. Should he cause any damage, I will bear the responsibility, for it was I who rescued him from savagery and brought him here to England in the first place.
Is there any reason Kimahia may have left?
I should think not. He had all he could have wanted. Gainful employment, new clothes, and all the cabbage he could eat.
Did Kimahia make off with anything of value?
Heavens, no. I would have mentioned it to Sergeant Ruffles.
Still, he must have fled with some money on his person?
No. I kept his wages in my safe. For security.
All right, Captain. I think I have enough to get started. We shall first take a look around the mansion.
Go ahead. I'll be here, mentally drafting my complaint.
为什么这种东西还在啊 ？What the fuck？ Alright.
Looks like a knee print. A shoe print, roughly size 11, with a worn-out sole. These are a workman's boots. Chewing tobacco. Someone knelt here. The amount of chewing tobacco suggests they were waiting a while.
Amazing, Mr. Holmes. To read the ground like an open book.
This lock is quite unusual. It appears that the key should be bent to the right.
游戏还是跟上一代一样，优化真的是普普通通。
The rag reeks of smoke. Someone plugged the chimney.
明明已经不太算是大世界了，结果还是漂亮。 Just hand on it.
A scrap of Hessian. These were sturdy boxes. It would have required a serious blow to break them. Impressive. The sack of grain retained the shape of an impact. Someone hit their head here. A small navy spyglass. A Maori nose flute. Ngurus, they're called.
Ngurus.
Clothes made of Hessian. Is Stenwick really so miserly?
再觉得是他把他带过来享受好生活的呢。
Button chops. The remains of a meal. Chemical odor. Lend me your nose, Doctor.
Ah, I'll never forget that smell after my time in Afghanistan. That's an opioid, Mr. Holmes, a narcotic.
OPCC.
The ashes are long since cold. Is this a Taniwha, a Maori water spirit, or something else?
Either way, it's giving me chills.
No air coming through it.
提我，先不要提我，还是得仔细的查看整座的。好了，看。
Could have left these tracks. They seem fresh.
这里什么都没有。那注定这里是主要的地方要看。知道发霉了，还提示的蛮清楚的嘛。
Someone moved a cart to this spot and then took it elsewhere. Can't see it anywhere in the garden.
Sloppy。是脸轰砸进去耶，不是后背吧？不是脑后面吧？对啊。OK， 这些都是要询问的啊。对，还有这个。 就要观察嘛。使用这种模式定选证据，还有与案件参与者交谈。定选了，看出所以然来，就先问吧。
The door to your garden has an interesting lock.
Yes, I have uncommon locks on every door of my mansion. It makes them harder to pick. Kimmy here and I both had a set of keys.
I'll need to borrow them.
No, you'll need to do what I tell you to do. Examine the garden.
I came across a pile of Hessian clothes in the shack. Are they Kimahia's?
Yes. I had to give him something to clothe himself. He seemed unfazed by his bare skin, but I found it distracting.
Has Kimahia ever indulged in tobacco?
No, the man doesn't even drink.
Are you certain? I found chewing tobacco in the garden.
I controlled Kimahia's expenses since he struggled with the currency. I would have known if he used tobacco.
Do you happen to know Kimahia's shoe size?
I wouldn't have the foggiest. But I'm sure it was enormous. Not that it matters. He spent his life barefoot. Despite my best efforts, he simply did not take to shoes. I thought you were meant to be intelligent.
I will not be long, Captain.
来看看望远镜，所以还有一个望远镜。来，望远镜。
Is this spyglass familiar?
I don't recognize it.
Could it be Kimahia's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I never saw him with it, nor could I suggest how he might have come by it.
Well. 很明显的就有人抢进来。Hey buddy， 可是我要出去外面才来看。要嘞。时机很对，那看来这只能排那10个，可是有点不对，他们是给了5个，怎么只排4个呢？肯定是不是的、啊？那不说不抽烟。Nope. 这 就腻了。并不是啊。走开！这个吗？啊，对啊，要有这个才对啊。耍汉。
Surveilling from afar, the intruder waited for a window of opportunity. When Kimahir went to sleep, the man crept up to the shack and slipped narcotics down the chimney pipe, then blocked it with a cloth. Kimahir inhaled the sedative and fell into a deep sleep. The intruder tried to move him, but the man was heavier than expected. The intruder fell on the sack and dropped his spyglass. In order to transport the servant, he had to use the cart. The final challenge was opening the garden door. Luckily for our intruder, Kimahir had the key in his shack.
It makes total sense. Can't say that it's easy, but
You'd best have found something by now, gentlemen.
I fear that someone may have spied upon Kimahir. Likely the owner of the spyglass I found earlier. It appears they were watching for some time, as there was an impressive amount of chewing tobacco on the ground.
And your point?
I found the residue of narcotics in Kimahir's brazier. There are several explanations, perhaps your servant's recreational interest, or an attempt at poisoning.
Cut to the chase, Mr. Holmes.
You said that you checked the shack earlier. Did you notice the cart tracks near it? Now, one ought to expect a servant to make regular use of such a thing. Indeed, I would have overlooked the detail were it not for the cart's absence. If, as you say, Kimahir never leaves your estate, then where did it go?
I expect answers from you, Mr. Holmes, not questions.
I won't keep you in suspense any longer, Captain. Kimahir was abducted by the owner of the spyglass. When your servant fell asleep, He slipped a narcotic into Kimahir's brazier to make him sleep even more soundly. In order to carry a man as large as Kimahir, the intruder stole the cart and rolled him right out of your garden.
Now, hold on. All this simply to tell me what I already know? Why haven't you found him yet?
I only arrived a moment ago. It is, frankly, incredible that I have already deduced so much.
Every second you dawdle here, waiting for me to stroke your ego, is another second wasted. I'm not interested in the how, the why, or the who. I am only interested in recovering my investment. Spare me the claptrap, boy, and go and fetch my servant.
Captain, you are so addled by delusions of competency that you miss the blindingly obvious. Without the assistance of others, you are utterly incapable. Kimahir endured your nonsense far longer than I will.
The point is, Captain, we're telling you this for a reason. The intruder fled through the garden door, and we need a key to follow his trail.
Well, then you should have led with that. Here you go. I hope you'll return soon with good news. And in the meantime, please teach your companion the art of brevity.
Sturdy rope, professionally tied in a Portuguese bowline. This knot is often used by sailors to create a bosun's chair. Roy Soulsby. Could that be the name of our man? A strange substance. I have my suspicions based on the color and consistency, but would you care to hazard a guess, Doctor?
Well, it's odorless, but from the way it absorbs water, I'd say saltpeter.
Then we're in agreement. Well done. Wheels picked up grass along the way. Kimahir's cart, I gather.
Well then. Hey, no, not just yet.完全不对，那么 new 的吧？反正我先解这个。绑架者有什么值得注意的特征？抽烟啊！窗有消失的钱包还是随手承接？这两个都说得通。是这个吧？ 水手纯洁是对的，反而是抽烟不对。也不对，真奇怪。还是这两个是水手。Make sense？ 基米西亚的线索指向哪里？
The Strand proved not so useless after all. The saltpeter accident. Doctor, do you recall?
The Port of London. Of course. The footwear, the spyglass.
Indeed. We shall need to take a cab there.
然后刚好的那个警察的马车就这样子走了。Hello。本箱做完了，走喽。
Where to go? The Port of London, please. I will show you where to stop.